Did Russia mess with our election, or is that claim overplayed? That issue taking center stage only moments from now in Washington, D.C. The Senate Armed Services Committee about to begin a hearing, and Georgia Senator David Perdue sits on that committee. He'll be at the hearing. He's with me now. Sir, good morning to you, Senator, and Happy
Good
New
morning,
Year.
Bill. Happy New Year.
What's your first question?
Well, I want to know what constitutes an act of war. I mean, look, this is a hearing about the facts. We've been hearing all the innuendo. I'm anxious to get to the facts, and we got the great witnesses here that can give those to us today. So we have a series of questions that go to that end, Bill.
All right. Ultimately, what comes from this? Does it suggest that Moscow tried to flip things in November or not, sir?
Well, we don't have any evidence of that, but what we have here is a wake-up call in my mind that this is bigger than Russia. It's bigger than this one incident. This is about the future defense of America, and what I hope that will come out of this meeting today will be a long conversation about what constitutes an act of war. Are we prepared to deal with that, and what is the appropriate response? General Breedlove, the Allied Supreme Commander of NATO, the former Supreme Commander, said just this year that we need to mature the way we think about these threats. Are we organized to respond, and are we prepared to respond in a way to protect our country? So I hope to hear those issues today.
You know, Sean Hannity was with Julian Assange earlier this week in London, and I'm certain that you have headlines from that interview. Lindsey Graham was asked about it on CNN yesterday and said this about that versus talking about our own intel community. Watch.
I hope the president-elect will get his information and trust the American patriots who work in the intelligence community, who swear oath and allegiance to the Constitution, and not some guy hiding from the law who has a record of undercutting and undermining American democracy.
Went on to say that he's going with them, meeting the intelligence community. But this is one Republican to another. What do you think of that, Senator?
Well, I think he's speaking about getting the facts, and that's what we're talking about today. We have the administration officials here today, and they're highly regarded people. They have the facts. We're going to get to that today. And, you know, I think that the president-elect has a high regard for the intelligence community. What he's asking are the questions that we're asking. Are we organized in a way to defend ourselves? Are we ready? Are we prepared to have the appropriate response? What is the appropriate response? And do we have the right intelligence gathering system to do that? Now, you heard your prior guest mention something about General Campbell in Afghanistan. I was on a mission over there 2 years ago. I heard General Campbell say the same thing, that the CIA needs more people on the ground. And I think that those are the types of things that we hear the administration or the potential administration talking about right now.
Do you believe the outgoing administration is trying to use this issue to undercut the next administration?
Well, I never can speak to motive. We have no evidence right now that this attack had any impact on the election. But what I do is look at this as a wake-up call, Bill, as I said. I mean, we now have a 4+1 series of threats out there, whereas 20 years ago we had a 1+1. We have Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and now ISIS is also attacking us through cyber warfare. We know what Russia is doing in Europe today. It's trying to destabilize the satellite countries in Eastern Europe. So this is something that Breedlove absolutely admonishes us to do today. And I'm anxious to get started in that process, and we will do that today in this hearing.
Just a fine point on that before we have to wrap this up. There are many who believe the administration is trying to suggest that the election was thrown. I mean, do you believe that the Obama administration is trying to suggest to the president-elect that perhaps he did not win this fair and square?
Well, we've heard Hillary Clinton say that. We've heard Obama say that. But there's no evidence of that. Look, the people of the United States spoke very clearly. And it's no mystery what they were saying is that they want to change in direction in the United States federal government here in Washington. They picked an outsider, a business guy, someone who was listening to them back home. And it had nothing to do with a hack and by the way, remember that whoever perpetrated this attack tried to attack the RNC just as well as the DNC. They just happened to have gotten through the DNC and picked up those emails. So
that hearing
we have no
begins
evidence.
In 10 minutes. Senator, thank you for your time. We're talking about Russia, but you may be very correct about the next could come from China or Iran or North Korea. Sir, thank you for your time. We're waiting for that to begin in Washington. Thanks.